everyone. Welcome back to Truth or Demons podcast. I'm your host, Stevie, and today is Samhain, or Samhain, however you want to say it. How was everyone's Halloween? I know. I promised you a week's worth of episodes and I failed. But life just kept lifing and I just couldn't get it done. But today, I have one of those episodes for you, and I'm trying to get the rest of them out in the next couple of days. But for today's episode, I did something a little different. Keeping in the tradition of interviewing some of my friends for the Halloween episodes, I have another friend as a guest. And the reason this one is a little different is because I'll be interviewing two people, members of a band, and the person who helped put this band together is my good friend Dave. This band is so interesting and so unique. I really thought you guys would enjoy hearing a little bit about them and their music. So, here's my interview with Dave and Bettie from the band Valkyrie's Fire.
I've known Dave for almost 20 years now, and I know his love for music, and I know his love for pagan history and everything related. What I don't know is about your band, Valkyrie's Fire, and how it came to be. Could you tell me about how it got started?
Well, Dave kind of knows the story more of how it got started, because I know he started it way before I joined. He was trying to get it rolling back in 2020, I believe. And it was just him and Adam to start with. He could probably tell you more about how he met Adam and how that went down. And then they found Ryan, the drummer, afterwards. I think it was a few years later. And then Joey, they got him to join a few months before I joined. And I know Ryan didn't believe that he would actually join the band when they asked him. But lo and behold, he said, yeah. I mean, that's just proof right there that the worst that could happen is they say no. And then I joined, a little over a year ago now. I didn't join until July officially of last year. And so my story, I can tell in detail. I put my profile on bandmix.com, and I put nothing on it because it was a very new profile. And so Dave reached out to me through Valkyrie's Fire's page and said that we had the same kind of influences, the same music that we liked. So he asked if there was anything that he could listen to of mine. I think he ended up finding my social media before I even was like, I got a few. So then he sent me another message saying, I listened to your stuff. Would you be interested in being in our band? And I was like, I don't know at first, because I was like, is this real? Is it some guy just trying to get me, catfish me? What's up? But no, he sent all the social media for the band. He's like, here's samples of what we've already made so far, our songs. And I was like, oh my God, they sound amazing. This is exactly what I've been looking for. And so there it was. I was like, sure, if you guys want me, I'll join. My audition song was actually a song that is now officially one of the band's songs, which is amazing because it was one that I wrote myself. So
that's awesome. Dave actually told me about that, and I think that is so neat that your song that you wrote and auditioned with is now part of the band that you got into with that. So
I know. I had pinched myself every day about it. Like, what? How did that happen?
I love it so much.
Me too.
Let's hear your side of that and how it went down and how the band came to be.
Yeah. Bettie pretty much was covering those hot spots, I guess, or the overview of it. Yeah, I started. Obviously, this was a dream and a passion of mine for a very long time. One of my biggest influences was a band called Nightwish, and they're out of Finland. And as Bettie, as I saw on Bettie's page too, it was one of her biggest influences as well. And so, when I started looking for band members, I really wanted band members that, obviously shared the same influences, in that style of music. So that way we could write something, within our genre, the genre that I was really wanting to create. And so for me, this whole process started in 2020. We were going through COVID and all this other stuff. And, a lot of people had a lot of free time. My time I was still working, I was working from home, but, I really found that I had a lot more, just personal free time to really get this thing moving. And so for me, it was kind of a blessing in disguise, I guess, in that regard. And just everything came to be. I started, the momentum moving and with designing the logo and coming up with the ideas, getting our social media set up where everything, was the same as far as across the platforms. People could find us easily. I started designing the website, coming up with ideas for songs, things like that. But it's, and then I started honestly looking for band members, and I came across Adam in 21, and he composes music, he writes music, writes lyrics as well too, and a lot of the influences that I had were his as well too. And so we really started to develop something together that we really wanted to be a part of. And at that time, I was still with another band, but it really allowed us to focus together, and I felt like, something was starting to grow then at that point. And so, started the research for trying to find other band members, and it took over a year to find the next one, which was Ryan, our drummer. And so after that point, we were looking for guitarists and a female vocalist because I wanted to have dual vocalists. The dynamic effect and appeal of that to me was just really intense, very strong. So that was hugely important for me. And so we found Joey through a local recurring thing here, event, I guess you would call it, called Guitar Night. Some friends of mine were putting on. And so Joey was always going to it, and he was always playing guitar. And, I would go for months and months, and Ryan and I would go particularly a lot. And so, one of our favorite guitarists at that event was Joey. And Joey was so good. I mean, just absolutely stellar. His methods and just his style of playing was exactly what I wanted. And I honestly didn't think it was going to happen, but I was talking to him, and Ryan was like, I'll die, if we get Joey's our guitarist. And I was like, worst we can do is ask, and he says no, and we're still at the same place, So I went ahead and asked him, and he was actually the first person we asked. And he was like, yeah, absolutely. This is right up my alley. I've been classically trained in guitar and piano for many, many years. He goes, this is a style I've really wanted to do. So yeah, we got that together, and then it was finding a female vocalist, and that I have been so picky on, over all the years, particularly because I wanted something that dynamically worked with Adam as well, our male vocalist, so that when the both of them combined together, it was just something incredibly powerful, just something incredibly dynamic that really pulled at the emotions of the fans, and also, the music that we were going to be writing together. And came across Bettie, at late one night, honestly, on Bandmix. And it was funny because, she didn't have anything on her page. She had 4 influences, I think, 4 band influences, and not much more other than that, and I was like, well, her one picture looks intriguing. Like, she could be cool, as far as being on stage with us, so let me try and dive into her a little bit more. And so I started doing some research while I was waiting for a response from her. Found her Instagram, TikTok, stuff like that. And I was like, my God, her vocals are just incredible, and I was just like, you could see from the videos as well, too, that, she wasn't egotistical. She wasn't prideful. She was just incredibly passionate about what she wanted to do. And so for me, that's exactly what I was looking for in band members. I didn't want band members that were just full of egos and always just looking out for themselves, because I knew that this, has to work as a team. We have to work together in order to make something really special. And so she finally, got back to me. She sent us an a cappella version of the song Empty, which is on our upcoming EP. And I was just floored, honestly, by it. Just absolutely incredibly floored. And so I had the other band members. We had band practice. And I had the other band members listen to this, and every one of them were just as equally floored. And so, we're like, have we heard back from her? Does she want to do this? And I'm like, I don't know, honestly. I think she's kind of a little leery. These guys are reaching out to her, and all this, and she, I don't think she was honestly fully prepared for the impact that was about to happen. And so, when Betty joined, it really completed everything that we were looking for. And so, everybody is talented in their own way in this band, which is what's really, really incredibly special. And being able to work together to put all those dynamics together has really honestly made this band honestly as successful as it has been so far. And things have just been rocketing at a rapid pace for us. And we're incredibly proud, incredibly humbled as well. And just incredibly grateful, for everything that we've been able to accomplish in such a short period of time. So
I love that so much. No, I love as an artist and someone who likes to create things, I love seeing something like this come together when you've been dreaming about it and you've worked so hard and you've put so much into it, and for it to come together when it did and how it did. I always like to think that that's like divine timing. It was meant to happen, so to speak. I love stuff like that. So I think that's really cool. So this is one of my favorite questions for any time I have friends that are in bands. How did you come up with the name for your band?
Well, I guess I'll answer that one.
Yes.
So, being, as you know me very well, over the past almost 20 years that we've known each other, my roots are very steeped in pagan mythology. And so for me, being able to draw upon those elements as well was something that I really wanted to do with the band. And so for me, Norse mythology has always been something that's very, strong with me and something that I like. It's part of my actual blood as well. And so for me, it was very, very cool to find something that within that realm. So I started doing a lot of research, and I came up with, I know obviously in Norse mythology, Valkyries are a huge, important role of carrying the fallen warriors to Valhalla. And so I love the name Valkyrie. I just thought that just rolls off the tongue great. There's been a couple bands I think named Valkyrie directly, and I was like, well, just kind of, I want something else with it, So I just started coming up with some elements that I really liked as well too, which was fire. And so I kind of put those two elements together, as odd as simple as it sounds, and came up with the name Valkyrie's Fire. And I envisioned the Valkyries flying onto a battlefield to pick up the fallen warriors. And in that battlefield, obviously, there's raging fire everywhere because of the, death and destruction and everything that's going on in battle. And so they're flying down through that fire. And to me, that was just, epic and dynamic and powerful. And that's what I envisioned as well for our band. So I wanted a name that was equally as powerful. And from there, I just started designing the logo, drawing it up. I think on our Instagram page, I've actually got a very old sketch of it showing the phases of where I was going through designing the logo. And so that came to be, and then I sent it off to a graphic design artist to finish and finalize all the elements in the logo. So, yeah, that's how the name came to be, as simple as it is, I guess.
I love that so much. I love, like I said, I love everything that goes into the creative process. It's when you're outside looking in on someone's creations, you don't always think about all the things, all the steps, all the sweat, blood, and tears, everything that goes into creating stuff. So I really think that's cool.
Yeah.
So, how many members are in your band, and what are all their roles?
So there is 5 of us. I'm one of the vocalists. Adam, he's the male vocalist. And then we've got Joey, the guitarist. And Joey does a lot more than just a guitarist. He's also mastered our music. He's does a lot of the composing, but Adam does as well. So I guess I should go deeper into each of everybody. So if I want to go deeper, Adam is not only a vocalist, he's also a composer and lyricist as well. So he composed the song Nectar of the Gods on our EP. And he's got another one that's not on our EP, but hopefully will be on our next album that he's composed for us, and a few more. And Joey is the lead guitarist. He's also a composer as well. He's composed most of the songs on our EP, and he also mastered our EP. So he's done a lot for us, but he enjoys every minute of it. You can tell he's so passionate and driven. It's insane. Ryan is our drummer. He is also a nice little comedy relief for a lot of what we do. He kind of keeps us straight sometimes too. Interesting mix, Ryan is. Very, very interesting, very awesome guy. And then we've got Dave, of course, our fearless leader, Dave the Brave. He is also the bassist, of course, and he's the one that got us all together. He also writes lyrics and comes up with some very catchy melodies as well, because he did Warrior of the Night and The Maiden on our EP. So yeah, we're all involved.
That's very cool. I am not musically, that's not one of my talents. I like to listen to music, but I have tried, and music is not something I'm good at, but I love the creativity that goes into it, and to hear about everyone's roles and all of the work they put into it to make your product is amazing to me. I think it's so cool how you guys can come together and essentially birth this thing that comes from your hearts, and I really love it. All right. Go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. It's pretty incredible, when you are able to pull together, something that, evolves from something personal, within yourself, and becomes, something incredibly dynamic. It's just absolutely very special, and it's definitely something that I believe, honestly, is the glue to holding a band together, and being able to all of us work together and build upon something together. That's essential to the longevity of what we're trying to do as well too. And it shows through to the fans. The passion and emotion and dedication that you put into it really shows through to the fans, and it becomes something that they naturally gravitate towards you. Because of those genuine aspects that they see within you. Nothing's fake, nothing's forced. It's real, and that's something that each one of us in our lives, really looks for, and that's a big basis of who we are as individuals as well. And so it's something that we're incredibly proud of.
I love that. That is so awesome. So you talked a little bit about how the band came together, but how did you meet everybody? Like I heard how you met Betty and her story, but how did it progress that you built this band of 5 people?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, when I was looking for people, one of the biggest, or I guess one of the easiest ways to do that nowadays is through the internet. It used to be, back in the day, many, many years ago, you could look in classified ads or, even Craigslist, things like that to find other musicians, in musician stores. You always went into music stores and you would find, what do they call those boards, like a bulletin board type thing, hanging up in their shop, and it would have, guitarist wanted, call us number, whatever. And, you always went through this audition process. Well, fortunately with the internet, a big part of it is, you can put something out there and create a page, website, whatever it is you want to do, asking people to audition, and they send you auditions. And while that is really cool, it's also can be just a train wreck. I mean, the amount of stuff that you get is absolutely insane.
Oh, I bet.
And so weeding through a lot of that was a lot of work, to be frank. And but honestly, that's how I found Adam to begin with as well. It was through Bandmix, same place I found Betty. And he was a vocalist, had a couple tracks on there, and symphonic metal and his influences, power metal, was something that he really wanted to do. And I was really intrigued by his ability to be a composer, as well as previously he had, sung in choirs and went to vocal training, did vocal training and stuff like that in college and that sort of thing. So that really intrigued me. And when I finally got to sit down with him, I invited him over to my house, and he was showing me all this stuff he's working on, including a metal opera, excuse me. And I was blown away, honestly. And so I knew that was something I could work with. For Ryan, I actually found him as well through the internet and Bandmix, and I reached out to him a whole bunch of times, and finally he responded. But I really liked his style and his ability in drumming, and so I felt like he would be a good match. So he and I met up at a restaurant and really got to talk, and we hit it off immediately. So for him, it was a natural thing to join the band, and we practice at his house. He's the life of the band, as Betty mentioned. He keeps us grounded as well too. He's got a very good head on his shoulders, and he's an essential part of the band. As I mentioned, when we finally got to talk to Joey at guitar night, and really, kind of got away from the shy part of finally approaching him, I guess, and bowing in all his glory, to him. It was pretty cool, when he was so excited about it, just incredibly excited. And so for him, it was a natural thing to jump on board. And man, when he jumped on board, within 2 weeks, I think he had 4 songs already composed and sent over to us and for us to work on. And so that was incredibly remarkable, to say the least. And for Betty, when she sent us that audition, I was just absolutely floored. And I couldn't get the band practice quick enough and tell the guys all about it, and it was just very special, And then when we finally all got together, what was that, July or August, I think, of 23, Betty, somewhere around there?
It was actually October, because it was the photo shoot.
Yes.
Yeah. That was the first time I got to meet you guys all in person.
Yeah, and that was a great day. Oh man,
yes.
that was incredibly special. When we finally got to meet each other in person, that was pretty awesome. We were excited, nervous. I think even our photographer Jessica was as well, and ironically, I had reached out to her, among other photographers as well, about doing our photos, and just trying to plan and manage things and move things forward. And she was ironically one of the only people that responded back to me. And but consequently, it's become a great relationship, a great working relationship with Jessica. We love her dearly. She does all of our professional photography. She does all the pro shots at our shows as well too. She's an incredible person. She has done so much for our band, supported us so much as well too. We're absolutely proud of her. We love her very much. But Jessica Sullivan was another piece of the puzzle, really, that just works well for us. And I think it's a testament to our band as well, and to each of us as individuals, who we truly are and what makes us special, and unique in our characteristics. We really strive to be, good humans, obviously, overall. And, but in that dynamic, we want to be good musicians, and we want to work together, well as a team. And so it's a lot of time and dedication and work. And, we are all passionate about that, and we put forth the effort that's required to do that. And I think that's really what's made our band come together so well. So, in answer to your question, that's kind of a little backstory on how that.
I love that. I love everyone's origin stories. I think they're so fun. So, how did I know you? I don't know how to preface this question. So, how did you decide what style of music would work best for all of you together?
Well, I'll take a part of this, and then Betty can answer the rest of that question because, from a vocalist standpoint, obviously she can speak to that. And for vocalists, it's not just about the way the music's presented, right? Like Joey or myself or Adam, we can compose something that we like, or that we feel will be impactful. But for the vocalist, it's a very unique outlook on that. And so when I decided, initially, hey, I want us to blend elements of symphonic metal and power metal together, which are two big subgenres, particularly in Europe, together and create something pretty powerful and epic. My vision on how to do that, as simplistic as it was to me, isn't always as easy to pull off and to make happen. Because as I mentioned, we have to work together as a team, and so what I see as something that'll work, or something that I feel would be would flow right, or something like that. It may not always be so for the vocalist, because ultimately, at the end of the day, they are the ones that are noticed more than anybody else. They are the forefront of the band. On stage, the people are always noticing them because, let's face it, that's where, some of the most impactful and dynamic portions of the music are coming from, is from the vocalists. So, they have to be able to work through and perform and, sing these songs in such an epic way that, their input is incredibly valuable. It's honestly one of the most important aspects of putting the band together. So, Betty, you can probably explain a little bit more about that.
Alrighty. Well, I think our sound just kind of meshed together in a weird way. Like, I know Dave sent us all a nice long list of bands of his idea of what he wanted to sound like and everything. And they were all bands. I was like, oh, I already heard them. I already know the song. And I think most of the band members were kind of the same. And I remember talking to Joey, and Joey's like, listen to any of those. I just did my own thing. And I was like, well, Joey, I'm glad you did, because we sound so unique because he did his own thing. And I like that. I think our sound ended up being this unique take on symphonic and power metal, just because even though we love these bands, we're not trying to sound just like them. We want to be different, and we are different because we have our epic classical guitarist who's insane in a good way. And then we've got me and Adam, who bring something so different vocally to this band. And I think different from all other bands that have a female and male vocalist, because not only do our sounds complement each other, but we also work to complement each other rather than fight each other over our vocals, which a lot of vocalists do, unfortunately. Like, I know it's good if you can both sing so powerfully and scream at the top of your lungs, but if you're both doing it at the same time, it kind of sounds like you're just fighting each other all the time. So it's good to have a balance. And I think we do that so well. And it's almost effortless right now. Like, I have not had to disagree with Adam too much. He's barely disagreed with me either. We just completely complement each other, which is beautiful. And I think that's just how we ended up morphing this sound that we have. We just all bring something different to the table. Dave's got his catchy melodies that he comes up with and catchy lyrics. And then Ryan's got the rhythm, hands down. He knows what he's doing in that regard. Joey, I think, kind of helps sometimes with that, but it's mostly Ryan. I know it is because Joey's a guitarist. But yeah, I think just the combination of all of our strengths and all of our ideals and even our weaknesses too, they come together in such a great way that we've got this beautiful sound that I think is different than any other symphonic power metal band out there. Like, I can't think of one that sounds like us.
Oh, I love that. That is super cool. I have to be honest with you. Before Dave showed me your band, I had not listened to this style of music before. I have this I'm stuck in the mud when it comes to music. I'm stuck in the 90s. I'm stuck in the early 2000s. And then beyond that, I haven't listened to much new stuff. But that's mainly because I work so much and most of my listening is research. So for the podcasts and such. But I love music. I love how it makes you want to move, how it touches you. I love that songs can give you goosebumps and just you're not even prepared for it sometimes how much a song can touch you. And I opened the links Dave sent me to listen to your songs and immediately liked it. I mean, like, didn't have to listen and be like, oh, well, yeah, that sounds. No, I immediately thought it's executed so well and it immediately has this draw to it. And I really thought that was cool.
Oh, thank you so much. That is awesome. And I agree completely.
Do what? I'm sorry.
I agree completely. Like, I love music. I don't have a lot of time either to listen to as much as I want to now. But a lot of people who have listened to us have never heard of this genre before. And they end up loving it. So it's great to be people's gateway into this genre. It's a great genre.
That's a good point that you get to introduce it. I love that. That's even better than just creating it. Knowing that you're like teaching people new things through music is really cool too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I was going to say I completely agree with that sentiment as well too. And I'll briefly add this as well that being in Nashville, it's the country music capital of the world, obviously. So that's what it's known for around the world. And so when I feel like when I decided to say, hey, we're going to do a symphonic power metal band out of Nashville, I'm sure that more than a few people were kind of thinking, yeah, that's going to not go over too well. Even in the metal community here in Nashville, I think people were pleasantly surprised and absolutely amazed when we came out, because it's funny, we played one song for a Christmas benefit show in December of 23 as a band together, which we were very fortunate to be able to do so. And it was towards the end of the show, and I wouldn't say that people were falling asleep or whatever, but you could tell the night's winding down, and people were just absolutely enthralled with what we did. The fans, the audience members were. The other musicians came up to us immediately within the next two songs and just talked our ears off, honestly, for the rest of the night. We're just so impressed by what we had done. We did a metal version of Deck the Halls, and it's on our YouTube channel, and people just absolutely loved it. And honestly, from there on, we started getting a lot of requests to play shows. And honestly, our entire year this year, we have not had to book a single show because bands and promoters and venues have come forward and asked us to play at those locations. And we've been playing every single month this year because of that. And, I think that's a testament to our music. Just like when you mentioned, Stevie, that you first heard our music and you were immediately just, I love it, and that's what so many people that we have seen as well too. Honestly, with so many people, as soon as they hear our music, they're just absolutely blown away. And I think that's a testament to how we work together as a band as well too. We are able to create something really unique and very special. So
I love that. That's really awesome. So that kind of leads into my next question. What all goes for both of you? What all goes into writing the lyrics for your songs?
So I haven't written too much lyrics for us yet. I hope to change that soon. But I know for me, writing in general, I tend to write very emotionally. So it's not necessarily the emotion I'm feeling right now. It can also be based off of others' emotions. Like I see someone else who's extremely happy and living their dreams. I'm like, oh, I want to write about them. So I kind of take from that. I take from other people's stories and my own story, and I write based off of that. But like I said, my stuff is very emotional, so it's almost very straightforward, not extremely metaphorical. I do have a few that are, but I'm usually very straightforward with like anger, sadness, happiness, love, joy, all the beautiful emotions. But I think with Valkyrie's Fire, the what's good about it is, yeah, it's kind of thematic, where it's Valkyries, it's Norse mythology, it's war, it's fighting, but we can also branch and still do other things that aren't just strictly war and mythology, or we can even take that and relate it to modern times too. Yeah, writing, I think, is different for everybody, lyrics wise. So just from my experience, that's how I am. I like to tell people's stories or my own story. And with the lyrics for Valkyrie's Fire, typically I haven't touched what anyone else has written unless they requested it of me. But I usually like to add a second layer of vocals, like a little higher decoration to it. That's my strat, I guess, my addition.
What about you, Dave? How do you influence the lyrics?
Yeah, so as Betty mentioned earlier, I like to write lyrics as well. Adam and I predominantly write a lot of the lyrics in our music. Betty is creating some new stuff as well. Specifically, wanted her to, because when she sent us Empty, I was really impressed, honestly, with the lyric structure and how everything came together for a song that just incredibly represented the emotions, that she was feeling at that time. And to me, that's a big part of writing lyrics. I love to make things catchy, and make things appeal, give it a little bit of commercial appeal, I guess, so to speak. But I've been writing, honestly, for so long that I write all the time. I've got that notepad feature on an iPad and an iPhone is phenomenal for that. So I'm always writing, constantly. Something will pop in my mind, something inspires me, and I'll write those notes down. And so for me, it's kind of just a totality of all of these different things, going through my brain at that moment. And so, I try to take a certain topic, right, and build upon that. And for me, put the emotion into it as well, because, as I mentioned earlier, fans see and understand and can relate to what your lyrics are. So many musicians, I don't think that they really understand the importance or put the value of that importance on their songs when they're writing them, and to me, I feel like if you are able to do that and really encapsulate what it is that you're trying to speak to the fans about, or relate, to the fans with, and bring that topic across in such a dynamic and appealing way to them, that your music, if it's catchy as well too, it's really going to become ingrained in their brain and in their heart, and just will emotionally pull at them, and honestly can even change their lives. And so, we all know how much music impacts us, on a day-to-day basis. We all have our favorite songs, we all have our favorite lyrics, we have our favorite artist, and if we look back on it and we do that dive ourselves into, how did we come about, how did that artist become our favorite artist? How did that music become our favorite music? when it all boils down to it, something really appealed to us and pulled at us emotionally. And when it does, that is how you became a fan. And so for us and for my writing style when I write music, that's what I think about as well. Is the impact that it's going to have on the fans and how they're going to hear it. And so I try to deliver that when I'm writing lyrics in a way that really can appeal to them, but also brings across the topics that we're wanting um, to showcase and share with our audience.
For sure. I love that. I had a teacher once that said a sign of a good writer is someone who can capture the emotions of the reader. And I think the same goes for music. When you write a song that captures emotions, it's really powerful.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. I think it's essential, honestly, in creating great music and being able to become a great band. Some of the greatest bands out there. You listen to maybe their biggest hit, right? And something about that song is incredibly powerful. And it usually has something to do with the lyrics, and then a little bit with with the melody, and you blend those two things together, and you've got something that's an incredible hit. And for music, that's essential, and no matter what time and era or genre that you're in. So that's really how I look at it when I'm creating music.
I completely agree with that. Yeah, go ahead, Betty.
I was just saying, yes, that's very true. Whenever you're listening to music, you wanna feel something, whether it's joy, or you want to relate to it in some way as well. And that's usually the most powerful feeling, is when you listen to a song and you're like, oh, somebody else gets me.
Yes, I love that about music. That was my teenage years. Like every time I fell in love with a song, it was because it made me feel like I was understood through the lyrics.
Exactly.
I love that. Okay, let's see. Where am I? Okay, so I know you guys have been really busy, especially the last year. What are some recent things you've been up to that you'd like to share with the listeners and the watchers?
Well, I guess I'll start off real quick. We, as you mentioned, we have been incredibly busy. It's nonstop, and it's great. It's incredibly exciting. I have zero complaints whatsoever. It was everything that I wanted when I wanted to pull this band together. And there's so many bands and musicians out there that honestly, would love to be where we're at right now. And we're incredibly fortunate, incredibly blessed, incredibly grateful, incredibly humble about this. And it's so impactful and meaningful. So just kind of wanted to put that out there. But yeah, we have been getting our album together. We decided to go with an EP instead of a full-blown, 10, 12 track album right off the bat, because we have a lot of songs that we are writing, an incredible amount of songs. We've got enough right now that if we were to finish it up in the next couple months, we've already got another album and a half worth of material to put out there to the world. So we just figured going ahead and getting these 5 songs out there is going to be something that, is just something we really wanted to do, and get it done by this year. Yeah, and then creating music videos. We we have so much fun doing that. It's a blast, and we have some great friends, honestly, and great fans and supporters. When we put out there, a post or something, about, hey, we need some extras for our music videos. Immediately they're all jumping on board. And no questions asked. They just want to be a part of it, and so. For us, it's really meaningful to us and incredibly special. But we've got a lot of stuff coming up for next year, for 2025. It's going to be a huge year for us in we can't go into too many details right now, release a lot of that information, but I can say that we were just confirmed the other day for doing Rockin' Pod 2025 in April. So it's a podcasters expo that specifically deals with music and musicians. So our band is one of the few local bands that will be there, and we're really excited about being able to talk with other podcasters around the world as well and reach out to more audience members through that. And so we got that confirmation yesterday, I believe, or the day before. And so that's pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome. Congratulations. I'm super excited for you guys.
Thank you.
That is really cool news. Oh, I can't wait to hear. Though it'll be a podcast episode we can listen to after.
Yeah. So you can go to, I think it's the website's in like NashvilleRockinPod.com, I believe. But there's podcasters that actually come in from around the world. They are there in person at this expo from April 11th through the 13th of 2025. And so they interview these certain bands, or the bands that are allowed to be there, and famous musicians as well. So there'll be a lot of them from across a lot of different rock and metal genres. We're talking some of the biggest names in music that'll be there, which is pretty incredible. And then they showcase local artists as well in and around Nashville, but there's a very limited amount of spots. We're talking like 10 or less. So for us to be able to do that and be there for those podcasters to interview on site in person, that's pretty incredible. So the podcasters will all have booths set up everywhere at this expo, and they actually will come around to ask musicians to do interviews with them, bands to do interviews with them. They'll come to our booth and talk to us, as well as it's a great opportunity for fans as well of rock and metal music to meet some of their famous musician celebrities, and to meet us and buy some merch, get pictures with us, autographs, that kind of thing. And for us to be able to talk with other podcasters around the world is really special, and a great way for us to be able to get our music out there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, for sure. I love that you guys have that opportunity, because podcasting is such a great way to network. I'm a big fan of it, for sure. So, what do you want the listeners and viewers to know about your band and you guys as people?
Well, I think first and foremost, people should know that our band is awesome. Not just because our music is awesome, but we're just a good group of people. Honestly, I was terrified, absolutely terrified of meeting these guys, because I was like, oh, I'm just this little shy girl from Georgia. I don't know about meeting this group of guys. I don't know, it's scary. But once I met them, I felt like I had known them for a while. They were so welcoming, so warm, so sweet and kind, and goofy that I just felt right at home, because I'm like, oh, I'm all these things too. Like, these are my people, and we're all just nerds. We're all nerds in our own way, whether it's music or games or movies. Like, we are all nerds, and it's just beautiful. I almost feel like they're my brothers, and I've never had brothers. I've only had sisters my entire life. So I just want people to know that we're just a very down to earth group of people who love music, and I think that shows through our music. That, I mean, it's people who love what they do. It speaks through their art. So you can see that we are an honest, loving group of people just from listening to our music, I think, and especially watching us live. I mean, we love getting together. Performing live with these guys is the highlight of every month. Every time I go up there, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm on cloud 9, because I get to do what I love to do with people that I now love. It's amazing, and I hope people can see that through just listening to us and witnessing us.
I love that so much. That's such a good answer. What about you, Dave? what do you want the viewers and listeners to know about the band and its people?
Yeah, like Betty said, our personal belief 100% is we're amazing. We're awesome. We are so, and I keep using this word dynamic, but we really are, honestly. Like Betty said, when we get on stage, when we play our music, when we do a music video, every part of it, if you just see that, you can feel it. It's something unlike, you know, um, anything else, honestly. And so, you know, for the fans or listeners out there, go out to one of our shows. Honestly, go view our music videos. I challenge you 100% to not be able to find that connection with our band, because it's there and it's dynamic. It's funny because, you know, in this music industry, you know, we know and have met a lot of bands and band members and musicians. And so a lot of them, you know, I've heard stories from, you know, from everybody that they're like, yeah, we don't really hang out as a band afterwards. With Valkyrie's Fire, completely different. We go to concerts together. We'll travel out of state together. You know, after a show, it's not uncommon for us to all get together and go, hey, let's go get some pizza. Let's go get Waffle House. Go, you know, whatever, and spend time with each other. And, you know, we like to do that after practices and stuff too. It's, you know, for us, we're family, you know, and it shows through. We incredibly support each other. And, you know, for our fans, it's genuine. You know, they see that in us. And so, like I said, I challenge anyone to not be able to come to one of our shows or listen to our music or see our videos and not feel the same way. So, yeah, I just want people to know that, you know, we're creating something very incredibly special. You know, you can pre-order our CD right now on our website. You know, I want them to really be an essential part of this and understand and appreciate and enjoy all of this just as much as we are.
I love that so much. That I almost got goosebumps, like sitting here listening to you talk. Like I can feel how passionate you guys are about this music and what you're creating, and I think that's really special.
Absolutely.
I have two more questions for you, and the next one I'm going to answer is still band related, but the last one is going to be for fun, since I'm having you on for my Halloween specials. I've got a little bit of spookiness for you. So before we get there, what are your goals for your band right now?
Our goals are pretty high, and we're all on the same page, thankfully. So a huge goal that I know Dave and I have is Wacken Open Air. It is a huge metal festival in Europe that we have watched our favorite bands perform at. Well, not in person, I wish in person, but online. Like, huge festival. That's where we want to be. We want to be there so badly. And I think we're on our way. We might get there sooner than we anticipated. That would be beautiful. But that's a big one. And we want to succeed. This is a dream. This is a passion. This is what we all want. And we all want to succeed. That doesn't necessarily mean we want to be famous. We just want this to be our career. We want our love to be our career. And that's what everybody, I think, strives for in their life, is they want something, at least a career that fulfills them. And I think this would fulfill all of us, because we're all musicians. Like, deep in our hearts, that is what we are and we strive to be. So yeah, definitely Wacken Open Air, to tour with a nice big band that we love. Beautiful. Like, my fingers are crossed for Tarja. She's my favorite, or Nightwish. But yeah, those are definitely big goals for us. And of course, releasing a full-length album. That's our very close big goal, I would say.
I love that so much. What about you, Dave?
Yeah, I echo exactly what Betty said there in that regard. I will say, you know, playing an open air festival is honestly a dream of mine. It always has been. To play in front of thousands of fans on a big stage is just something that I honestly look forward to. It's every part of the reason that I work as hard as I do. Truth be told, it's where I want to be. It's the goal I'm working towards. I I work extremely hard to meet my goals. When I put something in motion, I intend upon it happening. And so when I talk to the band members about, our goals and talk about, our aspirations and where we want to be, I don't speak of it as this is a fantasy dream, or it's something that could never happen, but hey, it'd be cool if it did. I speak of it in terms of manifestation. Like, I put it out there and I'm going to make it happen, and I am extremely determined in that regard. And I do not let anything deviate me from my goals or my aspirations, particularly when it comes to our band. I believe in our band more than anything else in this world, and I will do anything for these band members. I love them dearly, and we work together so incredibly hard, and we put a lot of time and effort into this. So yeah, I would say the culmination of that would be playing some of these big European festivals. That's some of our biggest goals. Wacken Open Air, or Wacken Open Air, however they pronounce it there in Germany. I apologize if I'm butchering that for German fans. Playing that is the ultimate culmination of what we want to attain as far as an open air festival goes. We've recently signed with Eclipse Records back in July, of this year, and so that's been great for us to really get our music out there. We're getting more and more followers as a result of that. They've been great to us as far as working with our band and helping us grow and expand. Lots of bands that doesn't happen within their first year, and for us, that's been really something special. So, as I mentioned, when I put goals in motion, and put it down, I manifest it to happen, and I want it to happen, and I make sure that it does. And so that's going to continue to happen for us. And so 2025 is going to be a huge year for us. 26 will be even bigger. And the next 5 years are just going to be incredible for our band. And I'm extremely excited about that and beyond. And so, I look forward to that. I look forward to getting out and touring, with around the country here in the United States, and particularly in Europe. Our biggest fan base, honestly, is in Europe. And so it's the style of music that we play. And so I'm incredibly excited about getting over there, but I'm also just as equally excited about getting Americans on board with this style of music and introducing it to them and allowing them to be just as impressed as the Europeans have been with this kind of music. So.
Oh, I love that. And I love that you have a big fan base in Europe. Europe is amazing. It's also, I think, very important for us to get your music out to the American listeners too, because like you said, it's more prominent of a genre over there, but people don't know what they're missing. If they listen to it, they'll really love it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think so too. Every person that I have introduced this genre of metal to, they love it. They're like, I've never heard of this before. Like, well, now you have, so it's time to go down the rabbit hole and find all the bands, because that's what I used to do. Back when I was 14 years old and I first heard Nightwish, I was just digging for all of these types of bands because I was like, what is this? I love it. Absolutely love it. And I found some that were so under the radar that I don't even remember what they were called to this day now. But yeah, I hope that we can be that for a lot of America, because they need to hear other music. It's refreshing.
No, I agree completely. And I think the biggest thing we all need as a people is to open our minds and allow other influences to come into our creative fields. And just embrace it, because there's so much creativity in the world and so much that people have to share. And I just love that we have these avenues that we can share that stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So now, since this is a paranormal podcast, are either of you into the paranormal? And more importantly, do either of you have any paranormal stories to share?
I wish I had paranormal stories to share, but yes, I'm heavily into paranormal. Actually, I've gone on 2 trips to St. Augustine, Florida, and they have a lot of haunted places there. So I went on a tour of the lighthouse at nighttime, and that's the only time you can visit the lighthouse at night is this time of year. And it is so cool because they'll give you the equipment and you can walk around. They'll tell you all the stories about the ghosts, the spots that they've been spotted, everywhere that there's been activity, where people allegedly died. And so you'd walk around with the equipment and be hoping that it would light up like, oh, where are you? Where are you? And then you'd hear people screaming and you'd run over there like, what? What happened? Because you actually want to see it and they're running away like, no, you're insane. I don't want to see this. I do. But it was so cool. Like just even hearing the stories and what people believe that they see or what they actually did see. I went with 3 friends that year to the lighthouse, and 2 of my friends swore they saw an orb, and I was so upset that I missed it. They were like, it was this little opening in the hallway at the house that was next to the lighthouse, and it was just a black, empty space where they couldn't figure out why there's light right there in this dark hole. And so they were just hovering around it, like, what's going on? I think that's an orb. And then by the time I walked over there with my other friend that I was with, it was gone. And they were like, I swear there was a light right there. And I was like, no, it's not there. And we even went back the next day to see if we could figure out something in there during the daytime that would cast that light. And we couldn't find anything. So I thought that was pretty dang cool. Like, I wish I saw it. But the fact that these 2 friends who are not into paranormal, they don't believe it and they saw it, that's pretty cool. Because now they're second guessing themselves. But we also, yeah, we also went to a haunted jail where a lot of insanely criminal people were locked up. I can't remember the time frame, but it's been closed, of course, and now it's just a museum. But you can also tour that jail at nighttime, and they give you all sorts of equipment to go through, and that was really scary. Like, I don't know. I'm very good with auras, like of people and places. I'm very sensitive, and that aura was off, so I was pretty terrified there. I barely moved around in that one. But yeah, I love it. I love that kind of thing.
Oh, no, that's awesome. What I love most about the story you just told about the lighthouse is that you guys tried to figure out what may have caused that light, because that's the kind of paranormal brain I like hanging out with, because as much as I love it and as much as I want to see whatever there is to see, I'm also the skeptical brain that's trying to figure out, to make sure. I don't want to necessarily prove it wrong, but I want to make sure that I'm not being fooled by something of a natural nature.
That's exactly how I am. We always want to disprove it, or not disprove it, but prove that it's true before we're like, it's true. Like, well, is it though? Because there's so much that people can do with photo manipulation, and it's so hard to be able to believe it now, even though I still disprove it like almost every day because I'm like, I don't think so. Something else is causing this.
Yeah, I can completely relate to that, because doing my podcast, my job is to tell the truth about these famous stories. And the more truths I find, the less I can believe in the stories. So I get that completely. I still believe, and I know there's stuff out there that we can't explain. But my goal is to make sure people know that there are also people out there who are trying to fool you, like trying really hard to fool you and make you think that what they're doing is real.
Yes. So it's nice that you're doing that, because it's good to know you don't want people tricking you to be scared.
Agreed.
You want to know the truth.
That really irritates me, that people tell these false histories to promote a haunting to make money. So I don't like that either.
No, that's just messed up. Just be honest.
What about you, Dave? Are you into the paranormal, and do you have any stories?
Yes, I don't really have any stories, unfortunately, but I am very much into it. And you know, one of the things I have desperately been wanting to do is go on one of these adventures with you, and we have not been able to make that line up lately, but we're going to make it happen. I promise. One of the things I think would be so cool is for our band to do something like that with you. That would be incredible. And honestly, all of our band members are, so much fun together anyways. We love doing activities and fun things like that. So we would absolutely thoroughly enjoy doing something like that. I think you had mentioned something about something coming up, in another week or so or something like that. I wanted to say that you were going to be going to.
Yeah, we will definitely make an investigation happen with you guys. We can definitely do something where it's just the band, and I can lead you guys in an investigation. I have recently found local stuff, more local, because I've been going up to Hopkinsville, Kentucky for the Night House, which is phenomenal. The activity there is so much fun. I've taken a group twice now, and we've had so much fun and got so much interactions, and people just came away from it so excited, which I love. But I also found a location in Gallatin. I'm working on setting up a date in November for that. So I can actually talk to that owner if you guys want, since it's so close, and we can set up our own night there. It's only 5 hours. It's not a full overnight, but it's in a shop. So I know the owner of the shop, and it's got some pretty cool activity, and it's in Gallatin. So.
Yeah, I would love that. That would be awesome. Yeah, I know we've got a few things coming up, but we've got an award ceremony next weekend, and then we've got a show on November 9th. Yeah, November 9th at an old church that's been converted to a music venue in Manchester, Tennessee, the church at 117. So that's going to be pretty cool. But yeah, other than that, yeah, I don't think we have anything else in November. So yeah, that would be absolutely incredible to be able to do that with you guys. So
awesome. I will get that worked out. And the owner said we can schedule it like other months too. If you guys don't have the compatible availability for November, we can do December or January. And she's a super awesome lady, and I'll work it out with her, and we can plan that.
Oh, that would be awesome. I would be so down to do that. I love doing that. I haven't done it in years, so that's exciting.
Oh, good. I'm very excited. Okay, before I let you guys go, is there anything else at all you'd like to share with the listeners and the viewers about yourselves or the band? And of course, I will link everything social media wise, so you don't have to worry about trying to list off all your stuff unless you would like to. Some people like to hear it verbally, but I always link in the show notes so people can find stuff.
I would just like to end off by saying thank you to anyone who has already taken the time and just to listen to us. We appreciate you very much. But also, if you haven't listened to us, please do. All of our social media is out there and available for you to access. It's all Valkyrie Spire official, so you should be able to easily find us. And our EP comes out November 8th. So be sure to check that out. You can pre-order it, pre-save it, whatever your heart desires. And that would be any of that. Listening to it, buying it, all of it helps us in some way. So that's what I would like to say. I appreciate everybody, and I appreciate you for taking the time to talk to us.
Oh, absolutely. I'm so glad you guys got to come on my show. All right, Dave, is there anything else you'd like to say before we end this?
Yes, absolutely. I'll just preface this by saying, love you so much, Stevie. Thank you so much for having us on here. Like I said previously, you and I have known each other for a very, very long time, and love you dearly. And I really am deeply appreciative of you taking the time to be able to, have Betty and I on here. And, yes, like Betty said as well, too, go ahead and check us out. honestly. You won't be disappointed, and at the very least, you learn something new and incorporate some new music into your life. Pre-order our music. We have physical CDs that are coming out. We're going to have LPs pretty soon as well too. There's packages and stuff on our website for this pre-order campaign that we're doing before our album comes out, which greatly benefits the band. And people who do those pre-orders get some really cool, unique stuff that's not going to be available after the pre-order campaign. So very cool as well. And for everybody else out there who may even be a skeptic of this style of music, like I said, I challenge you. Go out there and take a listen to our music, and I think you'll really appreciate it. We very much look forward to everything that we do together as a band, whether it be, playing a show together, making new music videos together, going on a haunted adventure as well too, and paranormal investigations. That's something that, we love to do as a band together. And so, it's very fitting, I guess, that we as well got to be on this podcast with you. And we very much look forward to doing this again with you as well too in the future, Stevie.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so glad you guys come on, and I definitely want to have you back and hear all about, especially if you get to go to Europe, I want to hear all about that. I love hearing stories about travel. But in the meantime, I will make sure I link everything about you guys in the show notes so people can find you. And if anybody has any questions for you guys, I will let you know as well, and we can always follow up on that too, because I love when people ask questions and want to interact with us. So I'll let you know on that. But for now, we can say goodbye, and I will work on getting this edited, and it will be out the last week of October. I have not figured out my schedule yet. I do have episodes ready, but I will figure out what day, but it will be within that last week of the month. So.
Alrighty, sounds good.
Thank you guys so much for coming on. I really appreciate it, and I will let you go for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you.
Love you too. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much to Dave and Betty for coming on my show. It was an honor to have you and hear about your passion for your band, Valkyrie's Fire. I will link all the links down below and in the show notes. Also, hang around to the very end of this episode for a song from Valkyrie Fire's EP. And bonus, you can hear one song on the podcast platforms, but if you're watching or head over to the YouTube channel to watch, you'll get another song and a music video. So be sure and hang out till the end to check them out. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening and watching. Until next time.